My issue with Trey Lance and Kyle is that I thought that Trey Lance would allow Kyle and the 49ers to take that next step as a team because Kyle loves guys that are predictable, right? Look at even our team in Washington with myself and Kirk Cousins. Kirk was a guy that they knew, hey, if we draw this play up, he's going to go boom, 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 get it to where we think it should go. Whereas guys like myself, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys, there's a little more creativity to the game. It's not that you're trying to draw outside the lines, but you do. And I thought Trey could provide that for Kyle. Kyle's a control freak. Brock Purdy gives him a little bit of both worlds. He gives him the predictability of, hey, he's going to go through his reads and do this, but he can also create on the back end. And they just liked it more from Brock than they got it from Trey. And I understand that. And I'm hoping the best for Trey in Dallas or wherever his career takes him. But I do think that Kyle needs a guy that can kind of take the edge off for him and make some plays that aren't called in the playbook.
Piggybacking off of what you just said, do you feel like you had a little bit of creative differences with Kyle?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that, like, when you look at backup quarterbacks in this league, right? Now, how many backup quarterbacks really threaten the starter? Really none of them.
4 or 5 in a given year at most?
Yeah, not too many. But when you look at Kyle and the guys he's had the most success with in his career, it's myself, obviously, my rookie year there in Washington. It's Matt Ryan in Atlanta. And then, of course, it's Jimmy G, which makes you wonder, why did he want to get rid of Jimmy G so bad? I don't think there's creative differences there. I think with Matt Ryan, he got the best of everything he was looking for. A guy that is going to go through his reads and make the plays, who's a veteran, and they had a lot of skill around him, right? He's built that again in San Fran. For me and Kyle in Washington, I don't think there was any creative differences at all. I think it was more of, how do you say this? Coaches, players all throughout the league, you've ran into this probably, everybody's got somewhat of an ego, and everybody wants to take credit for whatever is going on. It's a lot harder for a coach to take credit for what a guy like Patrick Mahomes is doing, who is super creative, as opposed to taking credit for taking Matt Schaub or Matt Ryan or Jimmy Garoppolo to the NFC Championship game. So I never had any issues when it came to that. We just didn't have enough time to work together. We only got 2 years there in D.C., and that's a whole other can of worms.
Is it a Kyle thing, or was that just an ownership thing? I mean, what was it? I mean, I've heard you say that you felt like you weren't protected enough in that system. Can you just expand on what you think happened?
Just to talk about like the protection within the system, like just to talk about Kyle's system in general, they can run anything they want, anything. Pro style, Woes type of offense, college, bubble screen, zone read. You've probably noticed this, that the offense was different with me than it was with Kirk, than it was with Matt Ryan, than it was with Matthew Schaub, than it is with Trey Lance. They have the ability to adapt to all those things, and I think that's one of the great things about the offense. I think with Trey, what I noticed was there was a heavy reliance on what he can do with his legs and maybe not as much trust as what he could do with his arm in the play action game. But that's only because we got a very small sample size, but to really pinpoint and say, hey, here was the issue with that. In Washington, it was more so of a ton of infighting between the head coach and the owner.
Right.
That was going on before I ever got there. So, with Kyle, I don't know how he got mixed up in that or if he got mixed up in that. I just know that there was a massive fight going on between the head coach and the owner. And that had nothing to do with me, had nothing to do with Kyle. And, at the end of the day, DC now has a new ownership with Josh Harris. Yeah. So I think that's everybody can get on board with and move forward with.
I know this is a big and heavy question. Do you wish you were drafted somewhere else?
To be honest with you, I don't.
Okay.
My journey and everything that's happened made me a better person, better man, better husband. To be quite honest with you, it's the only reason that I've been able to be the type of broadcaster that I've been. Because I've been there, and I understand when unfair narratives get created that aren't true, and people start speaking on things that they don't know about and how it can hurt a player. So I make sure I don't do those things. But to say, hey, man, I wish I was drafted here, I don't ever do that in my own mind. To answer the question, would my career have gone differently if I was drafted somewhere else? Yes. But then I wouldn't have the testimony that I have today to be able to share with the masses and truly enjoy the game the way that I do.
That's beautiful. What a beautiful answer.